Hi and welcome to C Talk. This is the convenience networking site, which is c-talk.co.uk. We're having a chat with Barry today, so we'll be talking about that. But just before I do, we have a promotion on with, thanks to the guys at Monster. There's an opportunity to win 10 free cases of either Monster or Relentless. So if you head to our website, there you'll see the advert for Monster, and you just click on that and then fill in your details, and you could be in with a chance to win. So thank you very much for joining us today, Barry. I hear you've had a refit actually in the last 2 years, and you've got a really diverse set of customers. I'd really love to know a little bit more about your store. Could you just tell us a little bit more about your store, please?
Yeah.
For anybody who's watching who doesn't know you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I've been in this estate. So it's called Marsh Farm, which is a council estate. We've been on it for about 35 years now. So we did refits in both stores now about 2 years ago. So we just and in the last 35 years, things have changed drastically. The clientele, the demographics within the area has all changed. You know, we've gone from sort of social housing to privately rented houses. So we've had to sort of, when we did the refit, we thought about all this, and then we introduced a in-store butchery, a halal butchery, and then we introduced a few ethnic foods, Polish, and looking at the clientele around the shop and around the store. So we've got about 6,000 houses around here. So yeah, it's and the refit sort of we took a gamble on it on doing things, but it's worked well, and our sales have actually gone up by at least 15%.
Wow. So Barry, for the retailers out there that don't know you, so you've got a nice local trading in Luton area, right?
It's Marsh Farm, so it's an area called Marsh Farm. If anybody ever Googles nicer Marsh Farm, you'll probably see all the pictures on the actual Google, so you'll see it on the app.
So when you did your refit and you looked at your customer base and you thought what products you need to stock and what products you needed to delist, obviously that took a lot of work to do. And when you introduced the butcher, you know, for advice to other retailers that are watching this, is this a butcher's that you put in and manage yourself, or did you then sublease that space out?
I sublease that the spaces. I've personally got no experience in butchery, and it's really the space out, and it works really well because the butcher is a wholesaler, so he actually owns his own abattoirs and things like that. So and you know, we have actually at any one time we have 3 to 4 butchers actually working behind the counter. So it's gone from having one to 2 butchers to having 4 butchers behind the counter every day.
And how does that then work with your? Obviously, you did the pre-packed meat that comes in from co-op. 2 different.
Yeah. So
and do the customers prefer?
We still have the meat that comes in from co-op. We still do all the full range of chicken, the mince, the lambs, everything. We still do the full range of that. So it just depends on what people want, and so we give them that diversity. If they want halal, and if they want freshly cut, then they'll go to the butchery section. And if they want to buy an off-the-shelf pack, then they'll go within our shop.
So it's a good add-on to the business, and it obviously through the pandemic that we started on last year in March. Obviously, it's a real it's a great benefit to the store, right?
It is. It's so when you look at a store nowadays, you look at a high street location. So you wouldn't do that. So you look at something maybe in a university, you wouldn't do that. Then you'd go into sort of a different demographic, maybe a bit of a council estate. See what competition you've got, and we've got an Aldi within sort of half-mile radius around us. So I wanted to do something different. To make sure that those customers who go to Little Aldi, we do something different, so the customers will actually come to me.
That's good. That's good. And how did you find that when you did the rearranging on the other SKUs within the store? So within your fresh.
We still have range. We still have fresh. We still have the full range of the English groceries, and also on top of that, we have the full range of ethnic groceries. So ethnic grocery sales went up from. Sorry. I think grocery sales went up from about sort of £1,000 a month wholesale buying to about £7,000 a month wholesale buying. So our sales have actually, six-folded because of the butchery section.
Mhm.
Our sales of ethnic grocery.
And would you recommend that to? And would you recommend that to the retailers? It's because obviously you got a diverse mix, so it's product to selling throughout the store to to all customers, right?
Yeah, so I would look at individual stores. I would look at individual competitions you have around each other, and I would actually because there's a couple of stores which I know of. I've sort of said to them, look, because they're struggling, I said, look, maybe you need to diversify, maybe do something different to what. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah. So you just recommend about you was talking to the retailer.
Yeah. So I said, basically they came looking at my store and things like that. And it just depends on what your competition is, what you've got around you, and this guy, is not too far away. He's at an Aldi, literally opened up, walking within 400 yards away from him, and he's a nicer retailer. And I said, look, you've got a 3,000 square feet store. You're going to be hit drastically by that. Then you need to do something different. So introduce something different in there. And he's still debating it, but and then unfortunately what's happened is next about 2 doors away somebody else has actually thought of that idea and actually introduced a butchery and a ethnic food shop right 2 doors away from him.
Wow.
Wow.
But then that's what we're
sorry, Paul.
Yeah, but that's what we're all good at as independent retailers. I mean, you and Kishore especially, always been there to advise the retailers, right? And I think that's how cool, isn't it? We're always there to help each other. And then when you look at the pandemic again, and with the PPE coming into the stores and restrictions and face masks and so forth, how are you getting on with that in store? How do you think your customers are acting to it and behaving to it, and for the safety of your staff and other customers? Because that's a big talk at the moment. You've seen what Costco announced this week.
So yeah, we put screens up on all the tills. We've done our side. We've done our bit. Our staff are forever cleaning, forever sanitizing. We've had issues with customers who actually walk in, and we've got big signs saying that face masks are compulsory when you walk into the store. Around about 5% of customers we've had issues with, and we've had to sort of face them head on. And it has but I've told my staff, look, I don't want you to get into any confrontations. You're going to have to advise them, and you're going to have to I said, but I don't want any confrontations because it's your health and safety is at risk. So we do say to all the staff.
And do you think there's more that can be done to help independent retailers and our teams in this? Well, it's this fight that we're in now, isn't it? So we're trying to do our best, and then you've got this, I don't know,
it is it's
aggravated conversations.
The problem we have is, I think we do have community policing, which is on our doorstep, but it seems to be some non-existent, and whatever the law enforcement there is, I think the consumers now are aware that there's no law enforcement around, so they can actually do what they want. If there was a hint of law enforcement, so even community policing were there to help, to walk around and make sure that people are wearing masks and they're abiding by it, then it would make a big difference. But unfortunately, with the way things are, there's nowhere to be seen, and I don't want my staff to getting into confrontations with anybody, and so we advise them, we tell them, and we, you know, but it's trying to bar somebody who's like 6'4", you know, and you're trying to bar something like that, and you just get into confrontations, you know, you can end up, you know, ripping your shop out. So we try not to have confrontations with them. So we just try and do that. So, you know, what else can you do?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. And then again, I mean, you know, I think the thing that affects us all within our stores, and again, it's increased. I've noticed it, especially in my store since the pandemic, is yeah, we want customers to wear face masks, but at the same time, shoplifting's now increased as well since the face mask. How's that affected you?
We've had a couple of incidents of shoplifting, but it's you know, I'm lucky. I've got staff who've been. Unfortunately, normally I don't get many phone calls, and then today I'm getting all the phone calls. So, but we've had a few incidents. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We've had a few incidents, but you know, we sort of try and you know, do it without confrontation, just try and bar them. And it's, you know, we've come to a stage now because we can't rely on the police support anymore, and we have to try and deal with it as you know. We just have to try and do it in a nice manner, and just without getting into any confrontation, because it's come to a stage where you don't have any police support, and so what else do you do?
Yeah, so that's a big message that really needs to get out there. That, you know, police crime commissioners and ministers really need to start thinking about retail crime. Needs to be a big agenda again. And the ACS have done some great work on it, but talking to a lot of retailers over the last couple of weeks, it seems to be big on the agenda again.
Yeah, it's generally we've had a few incidents over the last couple of weeks as well. So, but as I said, my staff have been loyal to me. They know who the local customers are, and they know who anybody new is, and they will sort of highlight anybody walking to the store. Our offices tend to be, you know, when we had a refit done, we put our offices alongside the tills at the end, so our managers are always near on the shop floor. They're not in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the first things I did was when we had the new refits done, we had the tools all in at the front of the store, but then also we had manager's office. They're based right next to the tools, so they were always on the shop floor. They were never at the back of the shop.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, things aren't tough enough as they are at the moment. You know, you've got a lot to contend with. But are there any positives that are coming out at the moment? Are there any categories that are working particularly well, or products that you think, wow, these are doing really well for first week in January? Or has there been any particular support from a particular supplier that has been a real plus, or someone that you recommend other retailers get in touch with?
I've had, you know, there's a lot of things to learn from this company experience, and for me, it's you know, the independent stores have done well on this pandemic, and I think, you know, as and when customers are walking into, now you've got new faces coming into the store, I think you need to capture those new faces. So we've introduced loyalty card schemes within the stores. So between our two Nisa stores, we've got a loyalty card scheme. So when a customer walks in, they've got loyalty programs coming in, so they get £1 for every pound they spend. Already, a lot of our customers have redeemed 20-30 quid over Christmas. We introduced online shopping, so we've done that, and basically we've made sure our shops are well kitted out and are well, you know, and stocked, because now. And as I said to we had a staff meeting a couple of days ago, and I said to all my staff, I said, now's the time to really do your own marketing, because this is the best time to do marketing, is when you're busy, and when you've got new faces coming into your store, is the best time to market your store. And if we do it right, those faces will carry on coming. But if you do it wrong, those faces will only come in once, so now's the best time to market your store.
So what kind of ways of marketing your store would you recommend that seem to be working well, or that your staff have really picked up and run with?
So, it's from anything from as soon as a customer walks into your store. So, you know, the friendliness that my staff give. So, making sure the interaction is there with my staff, making sure any help they need, making sure that the products are the products are always on the shelf, making sure you source the product. So if Nicer and Co-op don't get it, then we will actually get it from somewhere else, from other cash and carries or whatever, because we rely on Nicer and Co-op to give us that product first. But if the availability is not there, then we will go out and make sure we source that product out from a different cash and carries. So we always make sure that we're doing that, and basically giving a shopping experience to the customer. So when they walk into the store, you've got everything there. The shop is clean, tidy, and we're giving that one service, especially with loyalty cards and things like that. So we find the loyalty cards has made a big difference. So now they've got something like a Tesco's loyalty card or Tesco's club card. So we find that's made a bit between the two shops.
And is that a physical card, or is it a digital one? How does that work? Is it quite complex? Or quite easy to do?
We're with a software provider, MSP. So you've got two. You've got the physical side as well, and you've got the digital side. So you've got an app on your phone called Quick Points. So as soon as there's a QR code that comes on the till, you scan that QR code. So we know that you're the customer in front of our till, and the actual till receipt actually comes on your app as well. So the actual till receipt will actually, as soon as you finish shopping, you pay for the goods, you get your loyalty points on your app, as well as the till receipt will actually come on your app. So if you've been in the shop 4 times a week, those 4 receipts will always be on your till, so you can actually log in and you can actually see your till receipt anytime. So in that sense, it's we don't give a receipt to any customer, because obviously we're trying to save paper. So now they're actually getting a till receipt on their app. So if they've spent 20 different items, if they've spent and they bought 20 items, then those 20 items till receipt will actually come on their app with the total and what they spent.
Great, that sounds awesome. I wish I had that for my local store. Paul, we're going to be running out of time. Do you have any more questions before we say goodbye to Barry?
I think it's it's great. I mean, for me, it was about the diverse mix that Barry has in his store and the products he's put into a store. And if you used to give one last tip, Barry, to retailers that are watching and suppliers for support, what would you say?
For retailers, I had a call from one retailer yesterday. It says, look, I'm thinking of cutting my hours down to, you wanted to close early because it's quite quiet. I said to him, look, this is a bit of a marketing tool. Just carry on for the next month or so. Just try and do what you can and try and make sure that the customers know that you're open. Don't start to close early and things like that. So just keep your opening times the way they are, and don't close early and don't do that. And I'll give him a tip. And I said this is because this is the right time to actually get the customers in, and when you've got them in, try and keep them happy and try and do that. As far as suppliers are concerned, the suppliers, I've always said to the suppliers, look, the big stores, you give all the big margins to, you give all the thing, but then now it's time you start looking at independent stores, and our turnover in the independent sector, especially where we are in sort of Luton, we've got our independent stores. If we put their turnover together, we'd probably be doing more than what Tesco's Express, Sainsbury's Express, local. Some of our stores are doing 50, 60, 70,000 a week, and if you've got 10 stores that are doing that, that's over nearly £1 million profit, nearly £1 million of sales. So our suppliers should be looking at us now and saying, no, we need to be with the independent stores, and we need to market with them, and we need to help them out, and we need to push them, and we're there to work together.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, fully support you on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Paul. Nice to meet you, Kate.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks, mate.